Hello viewers, and welcome to a new episode on our ongoing lecture series on media theories. Today our topic of discussion is Marxist media theory, which is a very important part of media theories. And we have with us today Mr. Shomo Shubrodas, who is a faculty of St. Xavier's College, Kolkata. Welcome, sir.
Hello.
I am Shantan Mukherjee, a student of media science. So tell us, sir, why is Marxist theory so important?
Well, we have a definite way of seeing the world, and I'm afraid to a great extent it's a very monolithic structure. It's a very single way of looking at the world, and there's a sense of acceptance of everything. And the beginning of anything which we can examine under the critical views is Marxist media theory, or simply Marxism. And Marxism is such an important concept that it can be interpreted, it can be implemented in order to better understand the world which is there around us, and to determine where we stand in it. Okay. In order to understand a little bit better, we need to understand what is capitalism and what is capital. Now, of course, we all know that Marxism comes from the ideas and postulations of Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels, and today it's such an important theory in literature, in media, in economics, in political science, in each and every sphere of our thinking process, that a lot of governments has already banned it. Okay, so it's such a revolutionary theory that it has the potential to make anyone active or anyone rebel against the status quo that we are into.
I see.
Okay. The first and foremost thing that we need to understand is what is capital. Karl Marx has given the best and the shortest definition that is ever possible. Capital is stored up labor.
How is that?
While a manufacturer or a businessman or a capitalist is producing something, what do you think? Where does his profit lie?
In himself?
In the product? How does he make a profit? Because the machineries, you cannot make a profit out of it. You have already bought it. The raw materials which you are bringing. Okay, you are making it, you have to pay the cost of the raw materials.
Yes.
Because those raw materials are being produced by another businessman. Okay, or another dealer. The only way in which you can create a profit is
the
by,
workers?
Yes,
Okay.
the laborers. This is the history of capitalism. This is the history of our modern world, and we all know. Ask a Marxist, ask a capitalist, ask a businessman. This is it's an ethics in the capitalist world. And that is the point of attack for Karl Marx. Because if we do not see the world from the capitalist points of view, we will find that almost the 90% of the world is serving the big businessmen and the capitalists, and it is not their interest in which capitalism prevails itself. Okay, so that is a way in which Marxism and Marxist media theory, and of course when it comes to media theory, we implement all these thoughts into media and various forms of media. We will discuss it right now. It's a very interesting thing that a Marxist has put up. His name is Mike Wayne. In his book Marxism and Media Studies, he's saying that the gradual shrinking and speeding up of the end credits of television programs, has it got to something to do with the mass revolts against the imposition of international monetary fund policies? Or let's say, is this shrinking of the end credits has something got to do with bombing of Iraq or Syria? That's a very far-fetched and that's a very weird comparison or a correlation. But to our surprise, yes.
Okay.
Now, Mr. Wayne tries to explain how it is related. We have to get a little back in history.
Okay.
When feudalism was going away and modern era was coming, modernity came with capitalism. Without capital, we couldn't have made these journeys, these machineries, these scientific progress. Okay, so we needed capital.
Okay.
And we thought that with the evolution of capitalist or modern age, people's struggles, the scarcity of food, scarcity of security, everything can be controlled. Because capitalism and modernity came with that kind of a promise. But what we have seen in the last 400 or 300 years is that to a little extent those promises were fulfilled, but artificial scarcities were invented. Now it is only after capitalism that we can see the era of colonialism.
Okay.
And when we were seeing industrial revolution in Europe, India under the British Raj was being ravaged. Okay, our industry was in tatters. So it has been true for Africa, it has been true for Latin America, it has been true for North America. Okay, every continent, barring Europe.
But if you speak about artificial scarcities, what are you exactly referring to?
Exactly. You know, the end credits being pulled in such a fast way that we can't even read it. And it is being boxed, and in the other half of, on other box of the television screen, we can see that the next or the following show has already begun.
Yes.
So, what is it? It is actually the time. The airtime rate in television has gone so high that airtime is also, actually it's time. So, the time is also being bought.
Okay.
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 And there we have this, we couldn't even imagine ever that time can become money. This concept has evolved with the birth of capitalism. Remember one thing, we were discussing this. Remember one thing, that after the invention of the steam engine, locomotives were the first machineries to be invented.
Yes.
Which is the marker of communication, which reduces the time of travel, so that within less amount of time you can do a lot of business. And with that start, we have come to the age of internet.
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
communication revolution is a very important thing for capitalism. That's what the Marxists think. Okay, that is the, and if you even think in your personal life, and if you just explore various strata around you, you will find that to a great extent it is true.
Isn't reaching your precious one on other side of the world a very important thing as well?
Yes, it is very important thing, but that is not the purpose of revolutionization of communication.
That is true.
Now here we see that artificial scarcity was invented, and almost in terms of media, time became very scarce.
Okay.
Okay, that's why we have labor laws, we have a lot of things. We have, airtime rate in radio, in television. Okay. Now, labor and time, these are the two very important aspects which have been given a value. And that value becomes one of the precious profiteering aspects of capitalism. Slowly, we are getting to media and how this theory makes sense there. Now, we have a list of words on our screen: emotion, time, our desire, lifestyle, our sexuality, our representation of our own selves, and in a sense, the way we think.
Yes.
Every aspect, thanks to media, every aspect has become a profiteering project for the corporations or for businessmen, or for, in one word, the capitalists. How is it so? Through various forms of media. Now, this picture is very significant and very pertinent to our discussion. This is done through various forms of media, namely cinema, television, music and music videos. But the irony is we do not feel how media, through various forms, control our desires, emotions, whatever thinking process that we have. We are not conscious of it. We think that we think everything and we see everything in a very individual way, but it's not so.
Okay.
Okay. How is it
Done.
How is it done? This is a very classical structure of Marxism, where it says that the whole society is based on two things. One is the base,
Okay.
and another thing is the superstructure. Of course, in terms of this location, the floor is the base.
Okay.
It's concrete. That's why this table is there, and this is the superstructure. So the table will fall if the base is different.
Okay.
In the same way, the base of any society is the political economy.
I see.
In this society, we have the capitalist economy.
Okay.
That is the base.
All right.
And the superstructures, the social institutions, religion, family, education, lifestyle, and most importantly, media.
Okay.
So the role of media is determined by the base. If you go to Cuba, probably the media would be different. But if we are in India, the media is entirely different. It's a kind of a mixture of feudal and capitalist society. Of course, we are not fully capitalist. We are not fully out of feudalism. So that's why we have a lot of Saas Bahu serials and mythological serials still now. Okay, so that is a very determining factor of what you choose for your television serial. Okay, the social base. Media is considered to be a means of production. But the next question might come. What does it produce? What does it produce? Means of production, okay, you have a lot of things in the factory. Okay, the raw materials, labor, and there is an end product, any kind of commodity. But what does media produce? Through false consciousness or various images or whatever consciousness it imparts, media produces subjects. Subjects in the sense audience.
Okay.
Audience become the subjects.
Okay.
So you cannot deny that whatever is around us will have no influence. Now, in this regard, Joseph Goebbels, the Minister of Information, Propaganda and Broadcasting during Hitler's regime, said a very crucial thing that media religiously follows even now.
What is that?
You repeat a lie, you repeat it every day, and people will accept it.
Okay.
Okay? So this is a key, almost a scripture, a religious scripture for a kind of, media authority.
That is very frightening.
It's very frightening.
Yes.
It's very frightening. And you were asking why Marxist media theory.
Yes.
So these are the way in which Marxist media theories unravels a lot of things that the media houses operate on, or the media culture operates on.
All right. So the normative theory is non-existent right now.
Well, each and every theory will contradict each other.
Okay.
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 So you have a lot of criticism of Marxist media theory also, but still we have, it's one of the most pertinent theories. Okay, at one point of time, we thought we were talking about revolution, how Marxism as a political tool will bring about revolution. That's what we think, the common people think. And there are two classes, the proletariat, the working class, and the bourgeois. We thought that the working class will revolt.
Yes.
That's what classical Marxism, that's what Karl Marx thought 150 years ago. But it's not possible right now.
Why?
Because the media during Karl Marx's time was not so intelligent or not so variant and powerful as we have today. And with constant production of this subject through forms of media, cinema, television, we have started believing, the bourgeois and the working class, everyone has started believing that we are consumers.
Okay, so the
We
revolution
live a
has
happy
been
life.
diffused.
Yes, the possibility of any kind of revolution is diffused.
I see.
Okay, the kind of passivity. I'm happy with my mobile phone, with my shopping mall, with my television serial, with my, Facebook. Why shall I need to have any kind of revolution? Okay,
Yes.
so that's a means of production. And Of course, it is so true that consumerism is the overarching reality. If you ask anyone, are you a consumer? He will say, yes, isn't it that obvious? So it's a very accepted norm. And we are not consumers since our childhood. A child doesn't know. A child knows love, care, affection, anger, but a child doesn't know what is money, what is consumption.
True.
It becomes more authentic than these basic human values. Consumerization or consumerism becomes a very, very naturally accepted value, but it is the creation of this capitalist system, and the most influential of them being media. And it's only Marxist media theory can show this to you in a very critical way. Media as an amplifier.
Okay.
Now, we all know what is an amplifier. What is an amplifier?
It gets a signal and it amplifies it, makes it more auditory.
Yes, makes it more audible.
Yeah.
If you have a rock band, you need an amplifier.
Yes.
Right.
To make it heard everywhere.
Yes. And that's what media is. Media amplifies the ideas of the dominant class. Let's say one of the dominant ideologies or one of the dominant ideas are that of religion.
Very well.
Okay. You will find that religion is never criticized, or religion is never contradicted when it comes to media. You were talking about two films. There were two films.
PK, I guess.
PK and
Yes. Oh My God.
Oh My God.
Yes.
Oh My God did a brilliant balancing act when the real God comes
Yes.
and the purpose is gone.
Yes.
And in PK, it has been just a mockery of each and every religion, and not a very serious intervention. So, religion or industrialists, they are seldom criticized, or they are seldom the system or the status quo is questioned, because that is the dominant ideology. Whatever you do, the hero's journey, the romantic affairs, everything is done within this status quo. So within this dominant ideology, each and every narrative will take place. Very interestingly, constitution of the subject. So media constitutes us as subjects. We were discussing this. But
Yes.
how? Nature creates individuals, but a kind of a culture creates subjects. We need to know the difference between subject and individual. Individual is the conscious being, and subject lacks some conscious, and he's blinded by the influence of the surrounding culture. If I was in Arab, I would have been a Muslim. If I was in Rome, I would have been a very pious Christian. Okay. If I go to a Marxist school, I'll become Marxist. So culture is very important. Okay, we don't born as subjects.
Yes.
Now, culture, you would definitely agree with me, is dominated by media.
Indeed. Yes.
Yes, and media is dominated by people who can fund it.
Okay.
Of course, the proletariats or the powerless people cannot fund it, isn't it?
No.
Let's take the example of Salman Khan. The Salman Khan has been accused of accident.
A murder case.
Yes, I'm not against Salman Khan, or I'm not for Salman Khan. Okay, don't get me wrong. And after that, we have seen that Salman Khan, instead of being criticized or being discussed in a very harsh way, we have seen that there are repercussions. And after that, Salman Khan has made 2 films which has bagged it 3 crores.
Yes.
But the thing is, this is a very interesting observation, because this is the dominant class. This is the dominant ideology, where the media has a lot of 600 crores is at stake. Salman Khan appears and, it's a huge hit. So the media cannot afford to wage a war against Salman Khan. So, constitution of the subject, I am watching this, and I can see that if a person is accused, even after that, the media says that he has done a lot of things. He has been human, and he has saved a lot of lives. So, automatically, I am not being critical. Most of the people, of course, there will be people who will be critical, but most of the people will be, of course, there will be an acceptance, and I will be produced as a subject. Louis Althusser, another very important French neo-Marxist, tells us about the mechanism of interpellation.
Okay.
Interpellation is something which in a predestined or a pre-constituted social order you're already given a
acceptance to.
Yes, an acceptance to, and a mode of addressing. He is more than an individual, he is to me a student. The viewers who are sitting in front of the television right now watching this show, they are audience. We are not considering them as individuals. In the same way, in a consumer world, in a capitalist world, we are all addressed or interpellated as consumers.
Okay.
As if our role is to consume. That's very natural. I will discuss three important things. One is ideology. We all know what is ideology, but how does ideology is propagated through media? We have already discussed that media is the site of dominant ideology. So there is an acceptance of the dominant ideology even if you do not belong to that dominant ideology.
Okay.
Okay, let's say an example of the Dalits or the untouchables. The untouchables have already accepted it, that they are the untouchables. They belong to the lower strata of the society. And here we have already accepted that people who are middle class, upper middle class or upper class, these are the people with whom we can, write stories and the narratives. And there are still some alternative genres we can see. And let's take these two films, Dilwale and Prem Ratan Dhan Payo.
Okay,
so
okay.
it's a kind of even a poor man comes and he accommodates himself within that rich class. And in Dilwale, it is the status quo. The financial background is never shown, as if there's only a monolithic class. This is another important term, hegemony, coined by the Italian Marxist Antonio Gramsci. What he says is that it's a way in which the dominated class readily accepts the domination of the ruling class. I'll give you an example of Robinson Crusoe, where Man Friday, an African, he accepts the slavery of Robinson Crusoe. Robinson Crusoe makes him work. Even after that, Man Friday considers Robinson Crusoe to be God. The same thing for Dalits, the same thing for the gender prototypes, the stereotypes that we have. Commodity fetishism. Commodity fetishism is a certain kind of a blindness that is propagated through media, a blindness about the commodities. You put human values to the commodity and you overlook, or you just don't look at the aspect of labor. In China, in different parts of the world, the exploitative labor condition, we do not look at it. All what matters to us is smartphones. The smarter the phone is, the smarter image that you carry. So that is the kind of commodity fetishism which the media propagates. And this is, in the Marxist term, is inversion of reality. Okay. Man produces product. Who is more important?
Man.
No. For us, it's product.
Okay.
Of course.
Okay.
When you buy a smartphone, you don't remember that, yes, this is the work of a laborer who really worked hard. Do we really think in that way?
No.
So the reality is just inverted, or the reality is hidden.
Okay.
Okay, with that, we come to the end of this session. I hope you have a lot of questions. I hope you have a lot of things to ponder upon.